Hi Virgos, good moment. Welcome back to Wounds into Light. We are just going to catch a soul activations card for us for mental clarity for this Mercury retrograde and 5-5 portal. Then we're going to wrap it up with a love and light message. So let's get started here, Lord, for Virgo energy. We're going to pull a soul activations card and see what frequency you're being held in, maybe what's coming. There it is right there. Thank you, Lord. Virgo, the throat chakra is here. And by the way, this just confirms this Mercury retrograde, which is very, very hard because it is releasing itself back to following its own home path into the home of Gemini, where it belongs, this Mercury. And this is this house of communication. And this is refracting back. Your heart is blocking it because there's heart chakra blockages. And there's activation energy that's willing to come in within and without by way of building your heart anew. And as you're building your heart anew, it's going to open up to severe trauma inside and these emotions that you've had trapped for so long. There's anger here, resentment, there's fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, just fear of being alone. But honey, you've done all of those things to yourself first. So Virgo, this is where this energy comes in. 111, and you must speak with yourself. This house of communication chakra, this 5 overall, is this first real infinity looped back forth from that masculine powerhouse beforehand, 1, 2, 3 of the root, sacral, and solar plexus chakra, as it is accepted by your heart's transmutation, soul's nucleus itself, where Jesus lives, and he's the only one that can transmute that energy. And as he's giving this permission, it's still being refracted back because it can't be accepted yet, honey, but it is yours, and it is here, and it is good. Once you're able to dive in and communicate with your mirror here, you're going to be able to see this feminine power, your true divine feminine energies. Whether you're masculine or feminine looking at me now, it doesn't matter. We have all properties here because we have to. Red fish, blue fish. And your blue fish is really trying to come in right now. And it's hard because you don't like the way that it feels. But once you communicate to yourself and your heart releases it one more time, you're never going to have to deal with it again. That third eye is going to come in. You're going to see the truth about it. And then your crown, which is that overall no. And you're never going to be able to put yourself back in that situation again. Because partly of why you're hurt so bad is you never learned the lesson. And you held on to the past because you didn't realize that the past is never going to be anything more than what it was. The hope needs to die off there. And you need to be able to accept it and make room for more, honey. Because in the future, there is no room for the past. The frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. Do you have any peace and balance right now in your heart? Does your heart feel so heavy that you could just topple over within your scales here, right? Which means that with that injustice that you're feeling, you're not going to be able to move your wheel forward in the right direction. That crown has continued to divide you viciously down the cycle because you're broken picker, because you cannot be truthful with yourself and how bad you've been hurt. But the opportunity is there. It is yours. It's already been projected. You just have to accept it. Okay. Let's pull this love and light message for Virgo here, Lord. For Virgo here, Lord. Yeah, to bring in this grounding energy. Yes, this peace and balance for sure. It's all internal. You have to have inner peace before you can have outer peace. And here's the thing. Oh, thank you, Lord. Here's the thing is this inner peace is your area of control. In your ego, your victimology here, because you are the alpha, your true spirit that's trafficked within your flesh scientific test tube here, 333. Your ego is the one that's trying to control. In this area of control that is truly yours cannot be controlled. And therefore, it is not working well with you in that communication there, that self-expression. So therefore, it tries to control things outside of its area of control. You try to control any other person's feelings, like a certain event that everybody just knows that you're going to be self-entitled about because you've lost control on the inside. But the opportunity is here to take this control and move forward with it. And so that way, when you have the control over your area of control, the outside doesn't bother you none because you have that inner peace. 411. Helping others is helping yourself. That is beautiful. We talked about certain events going to help out, or like your feelings and your emotions towards each other. But this is a learning opportunity for both of you, or this situation or that situation. For the whole law can be summed up in this one command: love your neighbor as yourself. Galatians 5:14. There's this truthful communication that needs to come out, and it could be where there's an enabler in your life, or you are continuing to be an enabler, this boundary is here and it must be created. And when you make this boundary, it's only going to help them to help themselves and to help you help yourself. And it's loving them as you would yourself and saying, you know what, we need to take a time out. I need to be able to self-heal and be able to understand how I'm thinking, because the number one human communication condition is just to be heard and to be understood. But if you're operating out of your ego, your victim side, instead of taking that alpha control back, because the alpha and the omega, and if we're just like God, we should be that way too, right? We're not going to be able to stand frontward and forward and be able to say our true self and be able to have that self-expression on the inside. And if we don't have it on the inside, we can't have it on the outside. Out of 100% of that communication, only 7% of it is verbal. So 93% of it is what your ego and your victim is running over, when that 7% is what you are really trying to get across. There's a huge faith opportunity here to get the right words out, to be able to communicate with yourself, really figure out what's going on and if this boundary needs to be made or not. But I clearly see it, and I hope that you do too. Love you. Wounds into light.